Yeah, so I don't think it's just the misogynist side of it is the only aspect of transphobia, but I do feel like, to a large extent, that's what transphobia is, I guess. Uh, because I know there are uh, female to male trans people who are, they get their share of the shit. Uh, though I would say in general it's more accepted for a woman to act like a man in our society than it is for a man to act like a woman. And I would, which goes to kind of what I was saying before, that it might not have been in this video, but as far as female superheroes go, it's almost like the objective is to prove that women are as masculine as men, that they are as strong as men, that they are as capable, that they can kick butt and take charge and these kinds of things, which to me is, in a way, not, to me that is its own kind of misogyny. But it is almost in a way encouraging women to act like men rather than the other way around. I don't see much in the way of society that, except for this toxic masculinity movement, that encourages men to act more like women. The only exception to that, I would say, is religion. If you study religion, I think that you would come to the conclusion that religion is basically imploring men to be more like women. So much that I often joke that Jesus was a bearded woman, because when you read the Bible, Jesus is what, by our society standards, would be called a sissy. He's not. He does not. He does not portray the qualities of what in our society would be called a real man, even though, in a way, he is the closest thing to a real man there is, because he does not pretend. He's not a John Wayne. He's not a commando Rambo type figure, which is, to me, is not a real man. That is a. I'm not going to say that I am a real man, but to me, that's just not what a man as human being was necessarily meant to be. That's just my own opinion. But yeah, transphobia. What is there to say about transphobia? I think people are afraid of trans because they're afraid that it says something about them, that it implies something about people, that especially if you're depressed, if you're unhappy, if you're unsatisfied with life. What could be more disturbing than the thought that the reason you're so fucking miserable is that you're not the gender you thought you were. I mean, for me, it was a punch in the face. At the same time that it was a relief. I've said it before that I was relieved to have found what I felt like was the solution to my problem, but I didn't want it to be the solution to my problem. I find it humiliating. I find it something that I have a difficult time not being ashamed of. And so if you're the average person and you hear that so-and-so discovered that they were a woman, you might be like, well, God, I hope that's not me. So that, to me, is kind of what I see as transphobia. That I've said that I went through that myself when I saw a trans person or a transvestite or a cross-dresser or whatever the person was. My fear was that somehow I would come to that realization myself. And maybe that's not the same for everybody, but I think for family members, the transphobia is that this is somehow a reflection of them. That your relatives are an indication of who you are as a person. That if you have a trans in your family, that people might see that as meaning that you yourself are not necessarily 100% man or 100% woman. That your gender identity might be in question, that kind of thing. If you're a father and you have a son who dresses like a girl, I'm sure you would see that as a reflection of you. That people will think that you are a weak father, or you're not a real man yourself because your son is dressing like a woman. It's not that you're not controlling his life, but it's just that you aren't a masculine influence on him, that he felt that being a woman was better than being a man, and it's your fault. I'm not saying it is your fault. I'm saying that it wouldn't surprise me if you see it that way. No. All of a sudden I got a headache. Maybe too much thinking, too much coffee withdrawals. I brought my pitcher in here with me this time. No. Oh. But yeah, the distinction between transphobia and misogyny is not a very clear line for me. I feel like I probably should just take back that statement I made earlier that transphobia is not a real thing, but yeah, misogyny is, in my own internalized transphobia, I would say that a large part of that was internalized misogyny. That I had a low opinion of women, lower than I realized. Which is to say that in a way I am a misogynist, even though you see me here with a wig and this kind of get up on. I struggle with my self-esteem I think in part because I struggle to find the value of femininity, that I struggle that if being presented with the choice basically of living as a man or living as a woman, because I was born male, which means I could live as a man if I wanted to, which means I have a choice that women don't have. There's kind of that question of why would I make that choice to live as a woman? Like why? Who would want to live as a woman? That it's almost like, I mean, I felt like when I was first presented with the choice, I felt like almost like I'd be taking a step down, which is, to me, that's not transphobia, that's misogyny. And there are a lot of the reluctance that I have is just this kind of idea that it's better for me to live as a man because I feel like men are more respected, even though I don't really feel respected. But I do feel that my internal struggle, I feel like, to find my self-esteem is tied to my search for finding the value in femininity. Maybe value is not the right word. The virtue, not the virtue is not the right word either. But kind of what makes it good to be a woman. Like if you were a soul not yet in existence and you were presented with the choice of being a man or a woman, like why would you choose to be a woman in this world, knowing that the world is the way it is? Who would want to be a woman, and why? I mean, women are kind of, when you hear praises for women, it's often as wives and mothers. If you listen to political speeches, the wife is often praised as being support for the man. He says, "I can't do it without her," kind of thing, which is I'm not saying that's bad, but like who wants to do that to people? Who wants to come into this world being someone else's support? Is that what women want? I mean, do women want that? Is it my testosterone levels that make that unappealing to me? If I were to castrate myself and take estrogen, would all of a sudden would I find being a supportive character in the play an appealing thing to women? I mean, no. Am I rambling at this point? Am I saying the same things over and over again? Could be. But that is